Welcome back everyone, this is MandoAllDay, back with another video, and in this video, I'll be doing an overview of Batman Under the Red Hood Deluxe Edition. I'll be talking about a little bit of the story, the art, and of course, if it's actually worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support the channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at front of the dust jacket, the spine, the back. I'll show you a full spread image of the dust jacket, looks pretty cool. Front of the book, the spine, the back, and I'll show you a full spread image of the book itself, which is a really cool art piece. Alright, now let's take a look at what's inside. So, what is this book about? So, in this book, there's a new player in Gotham. I say player because, well, it's kind of quite obvious who it is. But this new player is disrupting the underground crime world, specifically Black Mass territory, which I'll talk about more in a bit regarding Black Mass. And of course, you come to find out that this new player in town is, of course, Red Hood, and Red Hood is causing havoc within the crime world. This new player starts getting the attention of Batman by committing all these murders and so forth, and as the story progresses, Batman faces Red Hood and finds out who he really is, which we all know it's going to be, of course, Jason Todd. And that's exactly what this book is about. It's going to be, the first part I should say, it's going to be about Red Hood coming into Gotham and causing havoc. The second part of the book, or the other story I should say, it's going to be about the lost days of the Red Hood. And essentially what that book is, or not book, but story is, it's mainly more of backstory of what exactly happened with Red Hood. How he was brought back to life. What exactly happened when he was brought back to life. Who trained him, which I'll talk more about in a bit. How he became the Red Hood. And more importantly, what exactly did he do? Because when Jason Todd died, he was a kid. But yet when he comes back as the Red Hood, he's, well, all mature and adult. So what exactly happened in between time? And that's what this book is mainly about. As mentioned, the Red Hood, but of course, giving more context to the character of Red Hood and Jason Todd. With that said, this book is fantastic. I love this book, and I'm so glad I got this book, specifically the deluxe edition, because, for one, I'll say it right now, it has a glossy paper on it, which, you know me, a glossy paper. I really love the glossy paper. And man, the art is fantastic. And having a glossy paper just makes the art really pop. But what I like about this story, and this book really taught me a lot more about Red Hood itself, is the backstory of Jason Todd. Like I said, what exactly happened? Specifically that last story, or the second story. Because, as mentioned, when Jason Todd died, he died as a teenager. Yes, he was raised, or trained, I should say, by Batman, but he never really got the experience, the hands-on experience, per se, to really utilize his training and actually put it in the field, per se. And this book really shows what exactly happened in between him being a teenager to, well, becoming the Red Hood, aka what you see in the first story. And it gives you more context of what exactly happened, how he trained, who trained him, why would they train him, and who he met to get this additional training. And I was into it, man. By the time I finished reading this book, it gave me so much more context to the whole Red Hood and Jason Todd. Really like this book, and it gave me a better perspective of Red Hood, man. Because I always thought Red Hood was just, well, a troubled up kid with anger issues. He dies, comes back, a little crazy, and he becomes Red Hood. I kid you not. After reading this, my perspective of Red Hood definitely changed, man. And I look at it differently now. Jason Todd, I understand where he's coming from. I understand why he does what he does. And it makes more logical sense. And again, it's all because of this book. And that's what I like about this book. It gives you a different perspective of Red Hood or Jason Todd. A lot of people think of Jason Todd, or Red Hood, I should say, the gunslinger, but he's more than that, and it makes more sense in this particular book, specifically that second story. The first story is mainly of, like I mentioned, Jason Todd just disrupting Gotham City crime world. But man, that second story just gives you more context. And don't worry, I'm not going to say who or what's involved, but it gives you more information, more context, as I mentioned. Because he does team up with certain characters from other stories. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Because when I read this other story, which I'm not going to say who or what because I'll spoil it. But when I read that particular story, I was like, okay, how did this character know about Batman's past and how he does things? And reading this, I'm like, oh, okay, it makes more sense. It connects the dots more. Another thing I like about this book, though, is really seeing Batman just wondering, like, is it really true? Is Jason Todd back from the grave? And you really see him doubting himself. He starts seeking out help from Superman, Green Arrow, asking him questions about death and how he would come back to life, and just really not believing the fact that, well, Jason Todd might be back. And of course, we all know the Red Hood is going to be Jason Todd, but in the context of this book, Batman does not know. But man, this writing in this book is fantastic. And another thing I like about this book is going to be the writing. The writing is so good because it hooks you. That's what I like about the story, is that the writing is so good it hooks you. I remember getting this book, opening up, and I kid you not, the first time I began reading it, I read the first 200 pages. I was really into this book. The writing is good, the art is good, everything about this is good. Just fantastic. And again, more backstory to the character of Jason Todd and Red Hood. Man, I am really, really loving this book and definitely recommend getting it. Now, this is the inspiration to the movie Under the Red Hood. So if you watch the film, well, here you go. It's in here. But I will say, though, this gives you way more content, way more context, way more violence compared to the film. So be wary. And plus, there's also some differences, of course. This gives you more story and a lot more happens in this book compared to the movie. But we all know that right now. Do you need to have prior knowledge? Nope, you're perfectly fine. You can just get this book and, again, you're perfectly fine. Pacing, it's average to above average. I would say this book is perfectly paced in the sense that whenever there's going to be a lot of heavy dialogue, it makes sense why there's heavy dialogue because, one, they're giving you more story, or they're introducing certain characters, or just giving you more context to the whole story. But once that goes by, I kid you not, the pacing definitely does pick up. Paper quality, as mentioned, it is the glossy paper. And of course, you know me, glossy paper, love it. The art is beautiful. And with this whole glossy paper, the art just stands out and it really pops and it just grabs your attention, man. This is a very bright and colored book, or comic, I should say, because usually with Batman stories, they're very dark and muted in colors. This one, very bright, very vibrant. And again, it looks fantastic. The art is beautiful in here. So overall, what do I give this book? Come on, it's really obvious. I give it easily a thumbs up. Definitely recommend getting it. And like I said, if you want to know more about Red Hood and Jason Todd, you want to get more context to who he is, what he does, but more importantly, what exactly happened, how he became the Red Hood, and as like I said, who trained Red Hood? This is it. And I'm telling you, when the reveal happens and you get more context, more connected dots, as you may say. So once again, what do I give the Batman Under the Red Hood, the Deluxe Edition hardcover? Easily gets a thumbs up for me. Definitely recommend getting it. And definitely getting in this format because the Deluxe Edition is bigger in dimension. You get that glossy paper. And man, the art is just fantastic. Here are some of the extras for this particular book. You got a variant cover here. You just got some behind the scenes sketches. So you can see here some of the variant covers. More sketch. More sketch right there. Look at that. It looks really nice. Look at that. Look at all that detail. I'm telling you, the art in here is just beautiful. Beautiful art. And there's Batman right there. Really cool scene right here. Really cool scene. And that's that. So as they say, that is that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me with this book? Do you plan to purchase this book? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not only support the channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. This includes an overview of Batman Under the Red Hood, the Deluxe Edition hardcover, and on to the next one.